Hi there, Karen here with Whiskey Sour. Hope you guys are doing great and that your holidays have been really good. We're coming to a close in that. Kids will be going back to school soon, parents will be going back to work, everybody will be going back to work. Some people don't have jobs right now. Those people are not going back to work. They're going back to looking for work. Some people are going to go back to just whatever is going on in their life, whether that's depression, anxiety, all the things that maybe were put on hold for the Christmas season, but then the reality hits again. In today's blog I wrote, I called it Welcome to the Aftermath, which, we hear this term a lot when used in war and catastrophes, but it's not something that you usually would use to describe right after Christmas time happens. But if you look around your house, there usually is some kind of aftermath that's happened. That could be a physical one, or it could be a mental one. And so I wrote this blog today, just thinking about all the people and how they're going to be feeling this week after Christmas time has ended. And there are a few of us who barely knew Christmas was here. I was not one of those people who I barely acknowledged it, with the exception of, talking to a couple family members a few days after Christmas. It wasn't even right at Christmas. It was just brutal trying to get back to phone calls and stuff. So some people opted out and some had it stolen from them, but I view it this year as a gift of some silence. And although with everything going on around me, you'd never know that anyone was taking a break, just in my immediate circles of what's going on. For a few of us, work just kind of kept going straight on through. Having stayed home New Year's too, and not having a single decoration or light within eyeshot, I don't feel this particular letdown of the holidays being over. I have had that in years before, so I know what it feels like. This year feels really just like nothing has changed for me. It's just going on through. It might even be more work to do. In my day-to-day life, I don't understand the difference between Monday and Saturday. Like, it's just, they all blur together into one gigantic day. And for some people, it seems like Cinderella turning back into the girl scrubbing the floor surrounded by pumpkins again. And Christmas, in this case, is a very good deterrent for a time of love and some dancing and some festivities. But then the brutal reality of work comes crashing in, or even worse, this return to depression. And I'm writing this today because January can be one of the most depressing times of the year for people. The holidays gave them a chance to interact and to be merry, but then all these people who were off work have to return to their jobs. And a depressed person might feel as though there's nothing good until the next holiday happens, when their friends are all available again. And imagine playing in this sunny meadow, and then a prince or princess come along and they ask you to dance, and you have a wonderful time with them, and everything's great. And you get on the horse with them and you ride over the moat and across the bridge and into the castle, and then they show you your new throne. And then they say, okay, I'll be back in about a week. So then you're just kind of left there in that. And part of you might be thrilled with all the new architecture around you and your newfound independence, but without that person you met there and your reason for coming there to begin with, you might be extremely bored and look at life as being really dull. There's nothing for you to do, and then you slump into that waiting mode, hoping the next party or festivity will be around soon, or that person that you met will come back to you very soon. But worse for some people is when all of this big party in the meadow happens, they have fun with you, and then they drop you back off at your home and your reality, and they say, if this was a Christmas thing, they say, I'll pick you up for a barbecue in the summertime. So then you're like, wow. I have no life between now and then, because that was so much fun, and the next fun thing for me is going to be the barbecue, and so I look forward to this. And people have a lot of events in their life that they look forward to, whether they're planning a wedding, whether they're planning some kind of party or festivity or whatever's going on, or the weekend warrior, that they're just always looking forward. And it's hard to look at what's right now, what's the thing that's right in front of us. There's a Leonardo da Vinci quote that I've always loved. For once you have tasted flight, You will walk with the earth. Let me try this again. You're going to walk with the earth. Hi, earth. For once you have tasted flight, you will walk the earth with your eyes turned skywards, for there you have been, and there you will long to return. And I've always looked at it as that thing which drives me, the thing that I've experienced that I always want to return to. And there are certain things I've experienced which have been very good for me, and I recognize quickly that I can't return to the old way of doing things. And after being around very calm, very considerate people for some time now, I could never go back to angry relationship or abusive or just that fiery kind of relationship. I could never go back to something like that again. And after meeting extraordinary souls, I have felt my own soul improve. And so I really love that Leonardo da Vinci quote. However, this quote can also mean that a depressed person, after experiencing that one party or that one crazy fun event up in the stars, will look at the ground with some kind of disappointment again. And it's not an entirely bad thing, because it prompts us to improve our setting and our environment. But I'm afraid that most people who are depressed in January will feel as though these amazing festivities are indicative of everyday life, of what they could have every single day, and which really casts a very large shadow on their depression, and or it might even bring their depression into light more so. So it's kind of the confusion of feeling like that's going to be part of your everyday life again. It's not one big party life, obviously. We've heard this before. And this extreme example of fun, this Christmas season, this holiday season, the New Year's Eve party, or if you were one of those million people in New York during the Times Square ball drop, I can't speak today, that if you had this one big party, it can make a person's life, their everyday life, feel very lackluster. And the word aftermath, when I said that this blog is called Welcome to the Aftermath, it's usually used to describe that period of war that I mentioned, the catastrophes, the destruction, all that. And while I do hope that everyone enjoyed their holiday season, I'm not here to, again, put a big bummer on it. It's just, I know there's people out there who are feeling really lackluster or depressed or lonely or whatever. The celebrations really can feel like an aftermath in the life of a depressed or lonely person. When you stare at your Christmas wrap, or the stacked pile of dishes, or empty folding chairs, and you got pine needles kind of strewn all over your floor from the Christmas tree, that can feel like a war zone, and that can feel like the aftermath. Cleaning it up can keep us a little bit busy for a while. Just put on some music and go, okay, I'll just clean my house. And then you're like, oh, the house is nice and clean again. But then all of a sudden these bare rooms start to talk to you, and that can seem like a desert. And this is part of what leaves people feeling deserted. Having been through a really brutal case of January blues, followed up by 11 months of abandoned self-worth for many years in a row now, I can only say that what's worked for me is to put way more emphasis on my life that happens in between the weekdays, in between the weekends and the holidays, than the holidays themselves. If you are truly this weekend warrior, where every week is just about getting through the work week to look forward to that weekend, what kind of game plan can you begin to implement for yourself that will make you enjoy every moment equally? And I'm not suggesting there are not times which you just have to do hard work. But can we not whistle while we work like that song recommends? I might go back and read my own Time Stealers and Bad Habits blog again and see if I can still be streamlining some of the parts of my life that are tugging away at my good moments. And there's always room for improvement in time management and allocation. Like sands through the hourglass, I signed off. These are the days of our lives. No, I actually don't watch the soaps. I just know that saying. I can recognize when a saying comes from somewhere else besides a soap opera. I found a Chantal Kreviazuk quote. She's Chantal Kreviazuk, kind of like Christina Aguilera. It took for everybody forever in Canada to learn how to say Chantal's name, and I'm still messing it up all the time. But she's a great singer-songwriter from Canada. You might have heard her do that song "Leaving on a Jet Plane" for that Armageddon soundtrack. She had that song "Feels Like Home" that she did, was really amazing as well. But she's got tons of music I love, and she's a really great writer. When you look at her song structure, and with my affinity for songwriting, I really look for artists that are really just very, very good at songwriting, and Chantel's one of them. And her quote reminded me a lot of when I was telling you guys about Gary Marshall writing that book, Wake Me When It's Funny, and how Gary was a really sick child, and he wrote this one book based on his whole childhood and how being sick caused him to be a writer. And I thought that was really great, him taking this situation that he had, where he was just really sick. He had 100 and some odd known allergies, and it was just really brutal. And always sick, just always in bed sick, and turned that into writing and became, one of the best writers in the movie business, along with being a director and many other things. Chantel, I've read a quote from her, and I didn't know this about her, so it was kind of a cool little thing I stumbled upon, where she said, when I was 21, I got into a motorcycle accident while traveling in Europe, and I had to lie around a lot in the aftermath, which was really the first time in my life that I became really focused and inspired to write. I love this for so many reasons. If I didn't even know this girl, I'd just be like, wow, that's cool, 21 years old when she should be out partying and just giving her. She got this motorcycle accident and had to lie around a lot and turned that into writing. And she cited that as a part of her life that she became really focused and inspired to write. So she took her bad situation and did that. And part of why I love that, I mean, like I said, even if I didn't know her, that'd be great, but part of why I love that is because when I was 8 years old, I fell down a flight of stairs and broke my tailbone. And there was a time period where I had to lie on my stomach for a really long time, somewhere between 8 and 10 weeks. I was off school for a really long time, and it was just a crazy, crazy time in my life. My broken tailbone affected me sitting all through school. There was a lot of problems that came from that. But lying around, I read more books and watched more TV shows and did more writing, at the age of 8, and consequently went on to have really good grades in all my writing in school. And so I kind of think that sometimes life does hand us these really bad situations where we can just really lie around after a motorcycle accident or broken tailbone, or like Gary being sick in bed. We can really feel sorry for ourselves. And I think it's an opportunity, these times in our life when we are alone, when we are depressed, when we're bored, when our life seems lackluster. We have the ability, and I always say we're equipped, we have the ability to do something with that, to take the lemons and make them into lemonade. I think these are people, and these are good examples of people who inspire to inspire us to move ahead despite what's going on in our life, despite whether that sun is shining or not, despite whether our environment is ideal or not. And if we have to lie in bed because of an illness or an injury or whatever, we can still be productive, and there's things we can do. And so I think, this is an aftermath time period that we're in right now. January is bad, and this is why I really wanted to write this right now, is not to bum everybody else out, but hopefully to inspire a bit and cause some people to think about, what could I be doing this January that I can take my reality, like face the reality head on, take that reality and do something really extraordinary with my reality, not waiting for my situation to improve, but just improve my situation. So I will leave that with you today. All my flubs and errors. A little low on sleep. But I will tune in with you guys again tomorrow. And again, thank you for all your messages and all your love and all your holiday wishes and all that stuff. I wish I could get back to each and every one of you, but I just physically can't. So many deadlines and so much work to do right now. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the NAMM show, the people who are coming to the NAMM show in Los Angeles in a few weeks. That's what we're getting ready for. Part of my reason for not going home for Christmas, so I just want to say that again. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys then, alright? From Whiskey Sour and me, rock on.